What's up, all my horror fanatics out there? Welcome back to Late Night Frights. I'm your horror host for this evening, the J Sloan or Jordan, back here to do another video for you. And as you guys know, in spirit of Halloween, this week everyone's been doing their Halloween franchise reviews or Halloween series reviews. So if you guys watch the channel, if you watch my personal channel, you know Halloween is my favorite horror series of all time. There are some rough edges, there's some rough sequels, some sequels that are not too great. But, you know, I think of Halloween, the original 1978, which is my favorite horror film of all time, which we will get to in a moment. Halloween, or horror movies in general are like, big name brand series. Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street, series such of that nature. It's like football and basketball, where if you have a specific football team, if that team loses, you're still going to love that team because you will stick by that team thick and thin. That's how I feel with the Halloween series. There's only really one shitty sequel in the original series in my mind, but the series does have some rough edges overall, so let's go ahead and dive into it. But yeah, just make no mistake, this is my favorite horror series of all time. But if there's a sequel I don't like, I'm going to put it plain and tell you what I don't like about that sequel and why. Also, to keep in mind, this is my own opinion. You guys might have a different opinion. That is amazing. I love that everyone has different opinions. Otherwise, the world will be just stupid, shitty, and very bland. And that's why I like everyone having their own opinions. So, let's go ahead and dive into this now. I do collect everything Halloween, which most people know. The only thing that I haven't double dipped on yet is Rob Zombie's 2 remakes and Halloween Resurrection, because those are my least favorite in the whole series. But everything else I double dip on. I have multiple editions of the original Halloween. I think 11 editions and counting, so I can't show you every edition that I own of each film. So I'm only going to show you one edition each, and that's going to be Blu-ray versions from the original all the way up until H2O, and then I'll show you the 3 DVD versions I have of the other films. So yeah, I have multiple editions of each film. So let's just dive into this. So I'm going to show you 1978 Halloween, which is my favorite horror film of all time. This is the new 35th anniversary edition Blu-ray that just came out. Oh, didn't mean to throw that at you guys. The new Blu-ray just came out. I absolutely love this release. But talking about the film and why I love it so much, it's one of the first, it is the first horror film I've ever seen. And Michael Myers as a horror icon, as the Shape, just stuck with me throughout my life, and I absolutely love this movie. I think there's no flaws in this movie. I really don't. But if you know, I'm not going to talk too much about this movie because you guys know that it's my favorite horror film of all time, my favorite slasher of all time, and at least it is my favorite movie of all time as well, which is pretty known. I'll give you a brief synopsis over the story if you haven't seen it. I don't know what to say to you, but here's the brief synopsis. It's basically about a boy named Michael Myers who kills his sister, Judith Myers, gets put in Smith's Grove, and breaks out 15 years later. Now, he goes and wants to kill babysitters, and that's what this film is basically about. It's got the masterful director, John Carpenter. I love his work. John Carpenter is my Hitchcock, literally. Alfred Hitchcock is most people's, that's the master of horror to them. John Carpenter is the master of horror to me. He's my Alfred Hitchcock, and he made a movie that no one will ever forget, and that's Halloween. It's basically about Michael Myers killing babysitters. Now, you don't find out until the sequel why he's trying to kill this one particular babysitter, which I won't spoil, but we'll see that in a second. So, my favorite horror film of all time, nothing more to say. The best horror film of all time, in my opinion. It's arguable. I know people can say, no, it's not, This is my opinion. Respect it or don't respect it. It's whatever. Whatever you want to do, just don't leave a bad comment in the comment box below because it will be removed. These are simply all our opinions, and this is my favorite horror film of all time. John Carpenter's Halloween. So moving on to the 1981 sequel, Halloween 2. This one, obviously, I forgot to mention the cast because I was trying to move quickly. The cast in this one, Jamie Lee Curtis, P.J. Souls, Donald Pleasance, Charles Cyphers, Nick Castle, Tony Moran, which Nick Castle's never seen neither. Well, Tony Moran has seen at the end of the film, but those are the two guys that masterfully do the Shape. But anyways, that's in the original Halloween. Now in Halloween 2, you have Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Pleasance, Charles Cyphers once again makes an appearance in this one. Dick Warlock is the Shape in this one, and this one is basically more of The Night He Came Home. It's a continuation from the original film. It is literally a minute after what happened in the original film, which I won't spoil. And it's basically Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Laurie Strode, is in the hospital and trying to recover from what Michael Myers has done to her, and Michael Myers comes to the hospital. It's the best sequel of all time, in my opinion, out of any horror movie. My favorite sequel of all time, and my favorite sequel out of the series. Obviously, I absolutely love this movie. And this is the beautiful Scream Factory Blu-ray release, which I've got numerous copies of this one as well, but I thought it would be best to show this one. Okay, moving on to Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. This is also the Scream Factory Blu-ray release. This one stars Tom Atkins from The Fog and Night of the Creeps, and The Fog is also done by John Carpenter. This one, not to mention, I almost forgot again, this one was directed by Rick Rosenthal, but it still was produced by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. Also, to note, John Carpenter did the score for the original Halloween. But anyways, this one is where it it pissed off a bunch of fans, and I gotta be honest, I hated this movie when I was younger. Growing up a little bit, this movie has grown on me. Obviously, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, this does not have Michael Myers in it. It's a big bummer. It's why I still hate the movie to this day to a certain point. But I don't think it's the worst out of the series, and I have grown a little bit of respect for this movie and a little like. I really do. I think it's got a fantastic Halloween feel to it and just surrounding, and it's basically about the Silver Shamrock, who is putting out these masks that they're planning to kill all the kids on Halloween. It's a very sick and demented plan. But this has got, like I said, Tom Atkins does a really good job in this one. And it's just a really decent, well, I can say it's decent in my eyes, but I have grown a love for this movie. Like I said, I used to hate it. If you watch my channel and a lot of my old videos, you know I hated this movie with a passion, but I have grown to really enjoy this flick, so I can't wait to watch this one on Halloween. And obviously, stay tuned on my channel. You guys know I've been doing my October Horror-thon on day 31, on the day 31, the 31st of Halloween, or the 31st of October, which will obviously be Halloween. I'm going to be watching the entire Halloween series like I do every year, only this time I'm filming it. So stay tuned for that, guys. Let's continue on to the 1988 sequel, I believe. I think it was 1988. It says 1987. I thought it was 88. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. I've also got numerous editions of this film as well. This one brings back Michael Myers, which everyone was so happy about, and me personally I was happy about as well. Michael Myers, after Halloween 2, it already became such a big horror icon that it was stupid for John Carpenter to think he could take him out of the series and not affect people. This one did an amazing job. This one stars Danielle Harris. This also brings Donald Pleasence back. And one thing I forgot to mention in the original 2 Halloweens and then bring him back in this one, Donald Pleasence is like chilling performance. He's just so amazing. I get chills when I see him in the original film and the sequels after that, who plays, Dr. Samuel Loomis. And this one has Danielle Harris, Ellie Cornell, Michael Patsky, Sasha Jensen, Kathleen Kim. And this one's basically about Jamie Lee Curtis's character as Laurie Strode died in a car accident, or did she? And she has a baby named Jamie, and Michael Myers comes back after what happened in part 2 at the end, which I won't spoil. He comes back, he's searching for her, and he's going to kill everyone who gets in his way. No stopping Michael Myers. Donald Pleasence as the awesome Dr. Samuel Loomis, as always. He tries to stop Michael. And this is my 3rd favorite sequel out of the series. I absolutely love this movie. This one has the 3rd most I would say the 3rd most Halloween presence and feel to it. And I absolutely love this movie. Fucking awesome sequel. Now we'll move on to Halloween 5, which is trying to find the year here, 1989. This one brings back Danielle Harris. Ellie Cornell's in it as well. Star. Let's see. I'm trying to find the cast. The legendary Donald Pleasence is obviously back in this one as Dr. Loomis. And this one's basically about the events that took place through Halloween 4 and then all the way following to Halloween 4 to the ending of it. Michael is back, and Danielle Harris's character, Jamie, is in a mental hospital, basically. And she is like, I know I've seen some people and Late Night Frights say she was inside of Michael Myers. She can basically see what he sees. I thought that was funny. I know one of the members said she was inside of Michael Myers, and they were like, oh, that sounds really bad. She can basically see what he sees. She has a direct link and connection to Michael Myers. This one's good. It's very underrated. Not a lot of people like it, and I love this movie. The mask is not to its perfection, though, I have to say that. I do dislike the mask in this movie, but I really love the movie. I think it's done well. The only thing I don't like is how it introduces the Thorn story, which we will get to in a second. So, moving on to Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, and I think this film, let's see what year it was made. 1995. This one has a very, very 90s feel to it. It doesn't necessarily feel like a Halloween film. I will admit that. And this one is basically fully about the Thorn story and how Michael Myers was like possessed and in a cult, which I do not like that story at all. But there is some good points to this movie. As you guys know, this is a guilty pleasure of mine. I don't think it's a terrible sequel. And this one, you have Paul Rudd, who stars in it, which not a lot of people like his performance. I think he was pretty good. And it's just basically about the Thorn story. It also has Donald Pleasence in it as Dr. Samuel Loomis for his last time in the Halloween series. And I just want to say, rest in peace. You have caused, joy to millions of people who love Halloween, including myself. And there you are. Just an amazing job. And I just want to give a second to Donald Pleasence because of his performance in Halloween. Halloween 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. He's just an amazing actor. Was an amazing actor. And he just deserves a lot more credit than he gets. He's just an amazing guy, which I know everybody who watches Halloween, he makes Halloween. He really does. He makes Halloween. It's basically like him and Michael Myers. He's trying to stop the evil and just can't seem to get a grip on it. And I will forever respect your work. You were an amazing guy. I would really have loved to have met you. So moving on to the Halloween H2O, which is I would have to say it's my fourth favorite sequel of the series because it has a big nostalgia effect on me. I absolutely love this one. And it's basically about Jamie Lee Curtis did not die. She faked her death. Yeah. She faked her death. Yes, sorry, I got tongue-tied there. And she's got a son. He's turning 17. And she's trying to get away from what happened 20 years ago, but she just can't get over it. I mean, she just cannot let the past die. It's affecting her son. It's affecting everyone around her, although she is keeping the secret well hidden from everyone else. I think her name is Miranda Tate in the film. And then Michael somehow, 20 years later, that's the only problem I have with this movie, somehow comes back and tries to kill her, kills anybody in his way. And I love the hunted becomes the hunter at the end of the movie. And the mask for the most part was really good, but I did not like how the director changed his mind at the end of filming and wanted to use a different mask. There are some scenes where you can tell there is a different mask being used. I don't like that at all, but I think it's a good sequel. It does feel a lot like Scream, I do agree, but it has a pretty good Halloween feel to it as well, I thought. And it was just really good seeing Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode back in action. That was pretty badass. Okay, so moving on to the terrible ones out of the series, in my opinion. So we got Halloween Resurrection. Never double dipped on this. I don't know if I will. I might get a Blu-ray of it. It's basically about what happens in the events that take place in H7 are not real. They're real, but she killed the wrong person. Laurie Strode gets put in a mental hospital. Michael Myers comes to kill her. He succeeds in doing that, and for some reason goes back to his house, which makes no sense to me. I mean, it does. It would be the place he would go, but the series would end there. The series would end. That's his whole plot. That's his whole point for killing. He's wanting to kill all of his family members until he has none left. He ended that. He killed Laurie Strode. And this movie is just so terrible, so cheesy. I hate this movie. I don't like this movie at all. I really don't. I just don't like it at all. The acting, the cast is such a mismatch. I prefer LL Cool J over Busta Rhymes any day. I know a lot of people have problems with LL Cool J. I thought he did better than Busta Rhymes, 10 times better. Moving on to Halloween. I hate this movie, you guys know. The Halloween 2007 remake. I hate that movie. And Halloween 2, I fucking hate this movie too. So, I had to end it because we're almost 15 minutes. Thank you guys. There is my Halloween series review. Oh god. Okay. As you guys know, like I said, it's my favorite horror series of all time. And happy Halloween, everyone. We'll see you guys back here next week. I'm the Jay Sloan. Thanks for watching. You just watched Late Night Frights. comment, subscribe, and until next time, guys, keep it horror. Peace.